Welcome to Layer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, let's discuss Deep Purple and their legendary live album, Made in Japan. This is an appropriately timed video for me. I just saw Deep Purple live last night. I thought the band sounded fantastic. I really liked the set list. They pretty much played all the hits, although my wife, and me too, I kind of wish they might have played My Woman from Tokyo. They didn't. But I can't complain about the set list. Thought the band sounded fantastic. Ian Gillan, his voice isn't what it used to be, but it's understandable. I mean, you know, the guy's getting up there in age. He pretty much does not have that upper range, those falsetto screams. He kind of goes for them sometimes, but they're just not really there. Nothing like they were on this album. This is a good example of, I made a video recently on bands and backing tracks, and Deep Purple and this album, and even when I saw them last night, they're a good example of an old school band. They jam live. My complaint about backing tracks, and I'll link that video below, was that it often sort of makes the band kind of stiff and they got to play the songs the same way because they're playing along to these tracks. That's not the case with Deep Purple. Like last night, there were tons of solos from the band members. Don Airey especially, he sounded fantastic. Simon McBride, the guitar player Steve Morse, not with the band at the moment because of some family personal issues. Simon McBride sounded great. The whole band sounded fantastic. But in this album really sort of captures that late 60s, 70s way bands used to play back then, which was they jammed a lot. You know, they got up on stage and songs had extended sections, intros added, things added at the end. And in my opinion, it captures, again, what the problem that I have with some modern concerts where everything just sounds the same, or with bands that sound exactly like the album. I don't really like that. I want to kind of feel like the live album is something special. It's something different. It's something unique. And in my opinion, that's the case with this album. None of these songs sound like the studio version. There's things added at the beginning. The solos are longer. There's different stuff going on. They had different guitar solos, different drum fills. Ian Gillan sings different inflections and things like that. And so it kind of makes it its own special, unique thing. And I really dig that. This was released from their 72 tour, released in 72, but in the US in 73. It kind of, in my opinion, catches the band in a Mark II version of the band at the peak of their powers. Coming off of Machine Head here, the band is just tons of chemistry. There's tons of electricity, tons of energy, tons of interplay, live feel here. I say this all the time. Blackmore is one of my favorite guitar players. Is my favorite guitar player. The interplay between him and John Lord is just incredible. It sounds like a live record. It's like you can sort of hear the room, feel the room. It's got sort of an open feel to it. You feel like you're standing in the middle of the room. I could see somebody maybe complaining that there's only, how many songs do we have on here? There's 7 songs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7 songs on here because of like the drum solos and the keyboard solos. Side 4 is Space Truckin', just 20 minutes long of straight Space Truckin'. I think it's great. I love it. In the middle of the song, it's like they just go off and like they're going off into another planet, noises and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. The Mule has a fairly long drum solo in it, but I think it's cool because, again, it sort of captures that excitement and energy of the band. I love the way Blackmore never really plays the same solo twice. You know, he'll sometimes quote certain things, but he always does something different. If you get the deluxe version of this album, you can hear takes from other nights and stuff like that and see how that they played. How they played these songs differently. But the way it stands, I love it. Highway Star, this is maybe my favorite version of Highway Star. The energy here when Blackmore plays that really long, high, held out note in the intro before the band comes crashing in is just fantastic. There's just tons of energy. Child in Time, I know some people think that song's a little bit boring, but I love it. I love the way it builds. Another great example of chemistry the live thing here, and Deep Purple not afraid, and bands back then did this to get really, really quiet. And man, Child in Time starts off whisper quiet and it just builds. When you get to that solo where it's like the keyboard and the guitar both going at the same time, then all of a sudden it just stops and that main keyboard riff comes back in. It just sends a shiver up my spine, man. So much energy, just really capturing a moment. Strange Kind of Woman, all kinds of fantastic guitar playing from Blackmore. Lazy, super cool. They played that last night, and that was highlighted a set for me. The set list last night I thought was really good. Not too many really big deep cuts. They played some stuff from the new album, which was cool. Smoke on the Water, I guess they got to have that in here. I actually like this version better than the studio version. I mentioned the Mule already and Space Truckin'. So just to me, a great live album and an album that kind of embodies that sort of 70s spirit that a lot of these bands had back then. Led Zeppelin, Cream, Jimi Hendrix, they all did this. They all got on stage and they just stretched out and they jammed. And that's something that I really like and I really enjoy. And I think it's captured really well on this album. It really feels like a live record, where sometimes I listen to albums and it doesn't feel like a live record. This one does, and it feels like you're capturing a special moment in time. So, all right, let me know. And it's interesting that the band sort of didn't really think anything of this record. It was, I think originally was just going to be released in Japan, like the Japanese label, and the band didn't really put much thought into it. They just put it out, didn't think anything was going to come of it. But now it's, some consider it to be one of the greatest live albums of all time, and it's gone on to be multi-platinum for the band and a huge seller for them. So you never know, right? Okay, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of Deep Purple Made in Japan. Anybody else see Deep Purple on this? I know they only did a couple tour dates here. They didn't do a ton of tour dates. I don't know if they're going to be going out and doing more, but let me know if you've seen Deep Purple live recently. Okay, let me know in the comments down below. Till we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.